All right, today we're diving into a new framework that could totally change how we deal with information. It's called the Smart Data Distribution Engine, and it's built on a really powerful idea. What if the right data could find the right person at exactly the right time?
So, does your day ever feel like you're just drowning? Just completely swamped by a tidal wave of digital information? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. We're all kind of in the same boat.
It's that constant ping, ping, ping from our phones and computers, right? A never-ending stream of alerts and notifications that, half the time, have absolutely nothing to do with what we actually need to know. And it's not just the alerts, the reports, the data feeds. It feels like a fire hose of information coming from a million different places, and you're just stuck in the middle trying to figure out what actually matters. And in the middle of all this chaos, a really serious problem pops up. How do we make sure sensitive information doesn't just get lost in the shuffle and end up in the wrong hands? The security risks are huge. But what if there was a better way? What if, instead of that crazy fire hose, you had a brilliant, super efficient postmaster for your entire digital life? Well, that's pretty much the big idea here, a way to finally bring some order to all that chaos. This really breaks down the difference, doesn't it? The old way is that fire hose we talked about, and it forces you to do all the heavy lifting, all the searching and filtering. The SDDE way completely flips that on its head. The relevant data actually finds you, and it's all automated. Information isn't just blasted out to everyone anymore. It's delivered specifically to you. So what is this digital postmaster in technical terms? Well, it's the Smart Data Distribution Engine, or SDDE. And it's a system that proactively, and that's the key word, pushes data to users who have said they want it and are allowed to see it. And it does all this in real time. It's all about getting the right info to the right person at the right time. So how does it work its magic? The logic behind it is actually brilliantly simple. It's based on what you could call a two-key system. And this is the elegant engine that makes all the decisions about what gets through and what doesn't. Okay, picture our postmaster again. Whenever a new piece of data comes in, the SDDE runs this super fast four-step check. First, data arrives. Second, it checks the recipient's interest. Is this something they've actually asked for? Third, it checks the owner's permissions. Is this person even allowed to see this? And finally, based on those two checks, the data is either delivered or it's tossed. Simple, fast, and really secure. And here are those two keys in action. Think of it like a safe deposit box. On one side, you have the user's demand profile. That's your key. It's where you say, here's what I want to see. It's totally dynamic and you're in complete control. On the other side, you have the owner's permission policy. That's the data owner's key. They get to define who is allowed to see this, which enforces all the security and context. The delivery only happens when both keys turn at the same time. So what's the big payoff here? What does this all mean in the real world? It means you get a system that's not just smarter, but one that is fundamentally safer and more secure for absolutely everyone involved, from the people creating the data to the people who need to use it. The advantages are just crystal clear. For starters, you get to wave goodbye to all those annoying or relevant alerts. Data owners get incredible fine-grained control over where their information goes. Security is baked right in with encryption and audit logs, so there's always accountability. At the end of the day, you're boosting relevance like crazy while slamming the door on unauthorized access. It's a total win. Okay, now here is where it gets really, really clever. The framework points out that permission can be contextual and temporary. What does that mean? It means access isn't just about who you are. It could also be about when you are, where you are, or maybe even what your specific job is at that exact moment in time. This opens the door to a pretty fascinating idea: time-bounded delivery. Think of it like data with an expiration date. Information can be sent with a time to live, which makes sure it only shows up when it's still useful. So no more getting urgent updates about a crisis that was actually solved yesterday. So when you start putting all these pieces together, the proactive delivery, that two-key security, the contextual permissions, you realize you're looking at more than just a smarter way to get notifications. You're getting a peek into the actual future of how information is going to flow. And this whole framework is also incredibly flexible. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It can be adapted to do fully encrypted content distribution for really sensitive files. It can use token-based subscriptions for different kinds of services. And it even has a fallback to the old-school on-demand access if you need it. It's really built to be versatile. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if we stop trying to find the right needle in a haystack of digital noise And instead, we just built systems where our data already knew exactly where it needed to go. That's the huge shift in thinking that the smart data distribution engine is all about. Thanks for tuning in.